Emotions expressed as a wheel. The mind map here is based on Robert Plutchik's idea on an emotional wheel, as described in Wikipedia. And the next mind maps detail the characteristics of joy and those related to fear and anger. We need to distinguish between our expression of emotions, feelings, and moods. Emotion is the initial automatic neurobiological reaction to a stimulus, whereas feeling is the conscious subjective interpretation and awareness of that physical reaction. And mood is a longer lasting, low intensity emotional state that may lack an identifiable trigger. So, emotion is a complex, short-lived psychological and physical reaction to a significant internal or external event. It has three components. First is subjective experience, what you consciously feel, for instance, happiness or dread. Then there's physiological response, automatic bodily changes, such as a racing heart or sweating, and a behavioral response, which is the physical expression or urge to act, such as smiling or crying. Robert Plutchik suggests 8 primary bipolar emotions: joy versus sadness, anger versus fear, trust versus disgust, surprise versus anticipation. Like colors, these primary emotions can be expressed at different intensities and can mix with one another to form different emotions or attitudes. There are 3 levels of intensity: extreme, typical, and subtle. For example, we've got terror, fear, and apprehension, and rage, anger, and annoyance. On the map, examples of mixed emotions are represented by grey words. For example, aggressiveness. I've plotted Plutchik's wheel, central petal of a 2D and 3D image, onto the Opticon, flipping and reversing his diagram to superimpose the colours and the emotions they represent. There is in fact a remarkable degree of correspondence with the faculties and other personality maps that they represent. It appears to be another example of the fractal nature of the faculties. I think that our personalities predispose us to certain forms of emotion, which is why Plutchik's and my octiconographic models correspond so closely. Here are questions to think about with regard to emotions. Which sets of emotions have you experienced most? What are the emotions you have least control over? How do they correspond with your faculties? Do you need to be more balanced? The characteristics of joy. This mind map is based on The Book of Joy, Lasting Happiness in a Changing World, which is an excellent synthesis of the views of a well-known Buddhist, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and the Christian Archbishop Desmond Tutu, co-authored by Douglas Abrams. Joy is the most valued of our emotions. When you have it, you are happy, whatever life throws at you. Now, joy arises from 8 abilities to look at life through: compassion, and that's our ability to feel for other people's needs and being willing to meet those needs; through generosity, which is our ability to give what other people need without counting the cost; having a perspective, which is our ability to see life from other people's points of view without judgment; having acceptance, which is our ability to recognize and accept our current situation and not envy others; having humor, which is our ability to laugh at ourselves and see how ridiculous we and life can be; expressing forgiveness, it's our ability to let go of what we perceive that others have done wrong to us; having humility, which is our ability to recognize that we all have shortcomings and none of us is perfect. And finally, having gratitude, which is our ability to be thankful for the good things that we and others have. This analysis of what constitutes joy, written as it is jointly by a Buddhist and a Christian, is an excellent example of interfaith cooperation and how very different religious beliefs can come to an agreement as what is the best way of living from a well-being perspective. What differs between them appears to be the final purpose or goal of life, but even there it can be argued that they are the same, depending on how we know the unknowable. Emotions resulting from pain. This mind map was prompted by the book of Dr. Paul Brand and Philip Yancey, The Gift Nobody Wants, the inspiring story of a surgeon who discovers why we hurt and what we can do about it. Dr. Brand is a cousin of mine, and the book is a great argument for the necessity of pain in a fallen world. In a perfect world, there would be no pain. A direct opposite of well-being is suffering and pain. Suffering is an experience of pain which can be mental as well as physical. One approach to address this problem is to remove suffering by mental and spiritual disciplines. However, this does not remove the causes of suffering, nor does it address the importance of pain. Pain is in fact a way of telling us that something is wrong, either physically, mentally, or spiritually. When it comes to our body, pain has been described as the gift that nobody wants. From a medical point of view, pain usually warns us that something needs attention and helps to point out where the problem is. The importance of pain for our health and well-being is illustrated by the disease of leprosy. Sufferers lose the sensation in their extremities and as a result don't feel pain if they damage feet or hands. And this is why lepers often have stubs, as they are often unaware that they are damaging fingers and toes. The important lesson for this is that suffering and pain can tell us that something is wrong, and we need to address the root causes. We mustn't pretend they don't exist. Take a look at the mind map. It's a simple one, and it illustrates how pain, real or managed, concentrates the mind into few primeval reactions. Now, swearing is interesting. Why do we instinctively invoke the divine or use obscenities? Those of us who are Christians might say it all relates to the time when we and some of the angels rejected the divine and became imperfect. In a perfect world built of love, there would be no pain and its consequences. Jesus said that there would be pain and suffering in following him in an imperfect world, but no more than we could endure with his help. He has overcome the world and death.